All right, AJ, let's talk Paul George. Are we worried about him being able to remove the narrative of how he plays in playoffs?
I'm gonna jump in on this first because I feel
Okay.
like all three,
I
because I feel like all three of you guys are gonna disagree that there's this narrative. There is this narrative that exists that Paul George sucks in the playoffs. There's just it's there.
Hey man, hey, watch your mouth, man. Watch your mouth.
I'm just.
Come on, man. Paul George, my God, man.
I don't think you should have. I don't think you should have started with me, man.
No, I'm just saying.
You guys know.
I know. That's why I said let me jump in first because I know how you're gonna feel. I know how you're gonna feel about this. But
he's my favorite player, man.
It's realistic. Look, last year with OKC didn't do that well. Flamed out first round. What happened the year before that?
Injured.
Man,
thank you, Keon.
What's next? I'm about to shoot down every cut. I'll go. What's next?
He's had one good playoff run, and that was
he's had
Indiana.
two. Indiana. They went to the conference finals twice.
Exactly.
Yeah, but one of them was the only one that he actually played well in.
They're not going to the conference finals
without him.
Production from Paul George.
Stop this.
What's that narrative?
The narrative, regardless, does exist. Like people actually believe this narrative that Paul George.
It's a false narrative. Yeah, that's like saying LeBron is not clutch. LeBron is clutch.
I'll tell you something right now.
People just take and feed. Paul George is a good playoff performer.
I'll tell you something, man. I'll tell you something, Kay. I really appreciate you, Kay, defending PG like that. Because I am sick and tired. Listen, I'm sick and tired of people taking shots at PG, man. Paul George is a great player. He's the best two-way player, arguably, in the game, up next to Jimmy Butler and a couple guys. You're talking about defensive. Kawhi. Yeah, no, Kawhi. I'm talking about one of his top five. Right, PG is top five. We're talking about two-way players. PG's top five. Kawhi, Jimmy, Giannis, sure. You know what I'm saying? But you got to put Paul George in there because
LeBron James,
absolutely.
Anthony Davis. So he's just been kicked out of top five.
Let's talk about two-way. Let's talk about two-way player here.
Who?
No, we're talking about top five two-ways, and I would agree. Paul George is a top five two-way player.
Yeah, you got to include him, man. The guy, injuries, nobody comes back from snapping your foot in half.
I will credit him for that. That was incredible. You're right.
It was incredible, S. Come on. The guy literally snapped his leg in half, and he's still doing what he's doing. The productivity, he's almost like he got better, actually. So I know that there's always, that little bit of a it's almost like a T-Mac curse that he's not able to produce in the playoffs like people would expect him to. But I think this is going to be different. You got Kawhi Leonard, you got a solid coach in Doc Rivers, and I think they got a really good system there in LA, and they got a lot of dogs. So I think that we're going to see Paul George and the Clippers really be successful this season in the postseason.
Can I throw you guys out some stats real quick? Just real quick.
Please.
All right. Okay. In those two runs that we were talking about, the Indiana runs, one where he was shooting 45%, and then the other year he was shooting 47%. Great runs. He 22 points the first year, 27 points the next year. Great. Absolutely awesome. The last year with Indiana, he was averaging 28 points, but he shot 37% from the field. And then he shot 40% from three, which is pretty good, but he shot 37% from the field. He couldn't hit for his life.
Okay, watch this now.
Good. And then OKC.
Who else is going to hit shots? Who else is going to hit shots
on Indiana?
On the Indiana team.
I don't even remember.
Lance Stevenson?
Was it Lance? Yeah, they had Lance. They had
exactly.
Exactly.
He was on that team.
And they had CJ Miles.
Yes, they did have CJ Miles on that. Yeah.
CJ Miles.
Well, listen, the last 2 years with OKC, it got even worse. 43% and then 40% from the field. He breaks.
So I'll say this. During that OKC run, if your point guard is going to take 50 shots, then it's really going to be hard for you to find a rhythm. Like Paul George, you see how he's playing with Kawhi Leonard? They share off each other. You run the offense, I'll go here. I'll run the offense, I'll go here. Russell Westbrook is like, I'm going to run the offense every time, and if I can't get a shot, I'm going to give it to you. And
I'll pass it to you. Right.
So here's the thing. So I agree with that. Look, the thing moving forward right now with Paul George is with this run with LA, I think this is the first time in his career where he is actually a number two option. With Indiana, he was a number one option, right? OKC, I would say he was a 1A, 1B. Him and Russ kind of shared that number one option.
True.
But with the Clippers, with Kawhi there, I think he is a pure number two option. And so that kind of alleviates the pressure off of him a little bit. So he's going to play a little bit more freely, a little bit more comfortable. I expect big things coming from Paul George coming into this year's playoffs. And I think the Clippers are going to make a deep run, not only thanks to Kawhi, but because of that pressure that's been a little bit alleviated off of Paul George's shoulders, he's going to flourish a little bit more in the playoffs.
I still think I agree with you, AJ. And I think both guys are playing at home, right? You know, Paul George is an LA guy. Kawhi is, an LA guy. Those guys are coming home, and there's a lot of pressure when you're playing at home in front of your family and friends. That's home now.
Right? Well, right now they're in Orlando. Right now they're in Orlando, right?
Yeah, but when you win, you win.
Yeah, you're representing the name. You're representing the city on the jersey, and that makes a big difference.
All I say is I hope I'm wrong. All I say is I hope I'm wrong. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna finish it off with that. I
hope you're wrong too. I know you're gonna be wrong.
Bro, your connection's messed up because of your point, bro. What happened there?